It's a kind of a nice day. My Windex is a little jacked up. A bird tried to land on it the other day or something anyway. So it's a little bent, but I'm kind of headed into the wind. I'm gonna step up on the deck, and I already hanked on the jib there before I left the slip. I'm gonna pull my sail ties off, prep my mainsail, then we'll raise them up, and you'll kind of see how I got things set up for single handing from this cockpit. Of course, jib sheet on either side. Over on this side, I've got both my halyards, single winch. I've got my clutch labeled how I hope to have it next season. I'm going to have the mainsail, the reef for the main, and that would be, I'm going to have 2-line reefing. I'm going to have a line in the front and a line in the back. So the forward reefing line is going to be coming through this clutch, and then the boom vang is going to be running this way. Then I'm going to get another deck top winch for here and a double clutch for over here. I'm going to move my my red line here. My red halyard is for my jib, so I'm going to bring the jib halyard over here, and then my jib downhaul currently is run through some fair leads over here, and I just cleated off right here. So this jib downhaul is eventually going to be run through a clutch as well. So all of my jib controls will be on the port. All of my mainsail controls will be on the starboard. And then that's just how I rig my boat. Haven't gotten that far this year. I've been enjoying sailing the boat, trying to do as little work as possible. So what I'm currently doing is I'm making sure that the jib downhaul is not fouled in any way. I'm going to step over, first things first, anytime I go up on deck, I try to remember safety and throw on a self-inflating vest. And then we can step up on the deck and get this sail ready. Make sure that I haven't left it reefed from the last time I sailed, because I sail, sometimes I have to reef. Maybe don't have to, but sometimes I reef for comfort because it gets a bit breezy. Okay, so I've pulled my sail ties. I've got my main halyard hooked up to my bullnose here. Unhook the main halyard, check, make sure it's not fouled anywhere. Bring it to the headboard and set that up. Okay, and I will step back over here. Sail ties will go in there with the rest of the stuff. Pull a little bit of tension into the main halyard. Check my wind direction. I did get a little bit steered off the wind here, but wind's not strong enough that it's really going to matter. I'm only running a 110 today, but the wind is supposed to pick up to about 11 miles per hour. So I'm setting up for that possibility, and if it doesn't, well, it'll be some light sailing with a 110 when I should have run a 150. Okay, so we're headed pretty well into the wind. I think I've remembered everything, and we're going to go ahead and raise the jib. So the jib is up. A couple of wraps. Give her some tension on that luff. And then we'll raise the main. All right. Okay. A couple of wraps on the winch. And we'll tension the mainsail. Yeah, it looks like we might be caught on something somewhere. Oh, my reefing line. Yep, my reefing line got caught in the cleat back there. Good thing I looked at that. That wasn't looking right, and I can get that thing up there a bit better. A little bit better sail shape. There we go. That looks a lot better. I know many of you probably didn't see a difference, but I saw the difference in sail shape. Now, to clean up my cockpit, I'm just going to toss these below deck. Pop the hatch a little bit in case I need to get in and out. And now I can steer the boat in a direction that I hope to go and get that jib to come around. There is so little wind out today that it really is almost kind of pointless to even raise the sails yet, but really any minute now it's supposed to come up to 8 to 11 miles per hour, so I want to kind of head off in that direction. So we're going to bring that around. I'm going to release the sheet on the port side, kind of tack this around. We can now take the boat out of gear, the motor out of gear, shut it off, and we're done with that for now. So I got this lifeline sticking me in the throat here. My bad broken motor mount that doesn't work. I've got a brand new, almost brand new motor mount that has much better spring tension on it. I just have to pull the boat out of the water to install it. And like I said, I'm having so much fun sailing this season. My boat is not going to be out of the water unless I have to pull it out of the water for an emergency. A bad motor mount is not an emergency. I can still get my motor up out of the water. All right, so I made a huge mistake. If we were in any greater wind than this, I'd be broaching all over the place because I forgot to let the tension out of my main sheet. Never want to have the main sheet tensioned when you raise the mainsail, because when that wind catches that mainsail and fills it up, powers it up, you'll have quite the surprise ahead of you. Okay, well, I'm headed in a direction I should have decent wind, or I should be powered by the wind, but I am not under enough wind for it to really be moving me very well. I'm doing about 1 knot currently. So far, no good. I guess I'll come back if the wind picks up. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one off for now. Anyway, we're back. I decided to do a sail change. Wind was pretty light. Finally started to actually come up, and found myself in probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 knots of wind, if that. And so I threw up the 150, and the wind looking almost consistent now across the lake. But if it stays at this point, we'll leave the 150 up and continue to sail until the wind peters out. But it's supposed to come up a little stronger than this, and I may end up switching back to the 110, or I may be toughing it out on a white knuckle sailing trip with a 150. Currently doing 3.70 knots. Heel about 7 degrees, maybe 6 degrees. So nothing crazy yet, but we'll see. It's supposed to be a good afternoon of sailing for about the next 4 hours. So I may come back if conditions improve. If they don't get any better than they are now and no more exciting than this, then I will probably just continue to sail until it's time to go. There's my little wake I'm throwing up there at 3.5 knots. But anyway, it's about time to tack, so I might go ahead and record that. We're coming up. I mean, shore is really close, like 150 yards away-ish. At the angle I'm approaching, it'll be further than that, but I mean, you can see it's straight out here ahead of, well, just off the starboard. Anyway, well, we'll go ahead and give it a tack and see what happens. Get things ready here. Oh, we're stuck. There we go. Oh, come on. I'm losing my sheet there. I'm losing my sheet. Get it? Anyway, let me clean these lines up a bit. See what our wind direction looks like. Let's head off a little more in the wind so we get some better apparent wind in the cockpit, because it is hot today. Although it's only about 85, to be honest, it just feels sweltering because the wind was not moving for so long there. Anyway, all right, well, there we go. Yeah, just missed the shore by 100 yards. Well, I may return, or this may be the end. We'll see. I'm on a nice little run here, or not a run, I'm on a, actually a close, kind of close haul. Let me get on the high side of the boat here so we can see. We're heeled over about 17-ish degrees, it looks like. 15 to 17, doing 5.5 almost knots, 5 1/4, 5.5. And boy, we got full sails. Not quite close hauled. Yeah, well, the wind's fluctuating, so it's hard to say what we're really doing. I'm just headed straight up the river channel here. I don't generally make it far up the river channel because the wind changes as soon as you get up there, so usually I get up there a little ways and I have to turn around and come back, but I can go probably, I don't know, a mile or two up there. Distance is so arbitrary when you're on a boat sailing around, so you kind of lose sight of what you're actually doing for distance. But yeah, doing 5 knots and feels really good. Boat's well balanced. I can let go of the tiller. I do have a tiller tamer on there, and it is cinched down a bit, but yeah, there we go. Another little puff there. But yeah, this is a good day for a 150. I haven't felt overpowered. I felt like I might come close to being overpowered, and I think the wind is supposed to be at its strongest at about 7 o'clock. We're supposed to hit 11 knots, but it's currently 24 minutes after 6, and things are still pretty reasonable. Really consistent today, though. I love consistent wind. I don't like it when I get out here and I go from 10 degrees to 25 degrees and I'm sheeting out, and just, I like this nice, relaxed, just point the boat and let it do what it does. So, beautiful day here. Small lake, as you can see. We can see the shore from every direction, but the marina's about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile out that way where all those trees are. That's where the boat sleeps for the night, every night, and sometimes I sleep on the boat. And then of course out here is what we call the Narrows. It's where a canyon kind of cuts through, and then there's another lake body about the same size on the other side of the Narrows. That's about a 5-mile trip over there. I've sailed through it once, but it's not an easy thing to do because of course the land really impacts the wind direction back there, and it's hard to stay on a, you've got to have a dead downhill run through the Narrows, and of course the Narrows aren't straight, they curve around and stuff, so as you curve, the wind direction doesn't always follow suit, and sometimes you end up getting close to one shore or the other, and you may have to tack when you don't want to, you may have to jibe when you don't want to. So wind conditions have to be really good to make that sail. I've only done it once. Usually I fire up the motor if I want to go to the other side. Has internet too, so if you want to go over there and drop the hook and watch Netflix while you eat lunch or something, that's, you know. But anyway, yeah, wonderful day. Sunset's coming up in about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours almost. We'll see. Well, let's see. Sunset is tonight at 8:36, so about 2 hours, 10 minutes. We'll see a sunset, but I don't know if I'm gonna stick around that late. Kind of depends on wind conditions and how I feel. I've been out for, let's see, it's 6:30, 5:30. I've been out for about an hour and a half. I think I came out right around 5 o'clock, and I've had decent wind for probably 45 minutes to an hour of that time. It was dead at first, but we're doing good now and having a good time. I wish there was someone out here to enjoy it with me. A nice little puff on the water up here you can see ahead of us. Maybe we'll catch that and exciting things will happen. Let's see. So we're doing 5.05 at about 17 degrees. And we should be entering that puff here real quick. Wind's changing a little bit because of the land mass over here and the way it's structured. And yeah, now we're at 20 degrees and we're at about 5.5 knots. So 5.43 and climbing. Oh yeah, there we go. There's some stuff starting to tip over in the boat. And almost to 25 degrees there. There's our levo gauge. Trying to make sure the camera can see it. Very calm conditions when it's not gusting. So I really enjoy this type of sailing. Okay, things are getting pretty brisk out here. We must be approaching that 11-mile-per-hour mark. I'm even having a hard time getting my 150 sheeted in. I mean, I'm cross sheeted. I'm pulling, trying to bring it in, and oh boy, rounding up a little bit when I let go of the tiller. I'm at about, it looks like about 25 degrees of heel. I'm doing almost 6 knots. I was doing 6 a minute ago, but I pulled off the wind a little bit, 5.5 now. So sun's getting lower in the sky, and I'm actually wondering if I shouldn't take the 150 down pretty soon, because I see another little bit of a stronger wind just ahead, about 150 yards or so, and I'll probably catch the, yep, I think I'm catching it right now. Yeah, we're up to 5.8 knots, 5.9. So if I come up into the wind a hair, I might even gain some speed. Now 5.9 is about the best I've got today. I was just a hair over 6 a minute ago, and anyway, but again, overall today it's been wonderful. Beautiful conditions. A little bit of a wake pushing out off the boat. Oh, turned downwind a little bit. Anyway, it was funny. There was a guy out here fishing on a canoe, and I kind of skirted past him. And as I caught up even with him, he turned his trolling motor on, and I was going a little faster than he was. I was going almost. I was probably broad reach, and so I wasn't going as fast as I could. And then when he saw that I was still passing him, he picked up his paddle, he started paddling with the trolling motor. I just cut up into the wind a little bit, picked up a ton of speed, just whipped past him, and went up there and tacked real quick. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna show you what a little bit more of a lively tack looks like here. I'm approaching the marina, and I'm gonna have to turn it around again. The bad thing about the lake is that you don't get these long distance, you know, 3 hours on a beam reach kind of sailing. You get tacking back and forth every 20 minutes or faster if the winds are nice. So the good thing about it is you get lots of practice at tacking. So anyway, probably we're in 72 feet of water. The slope of the land tends to continue into the water. So it's pretty gradual up there, so the water probably shallows fairly quickly. I know it's very shallow up by the marina. It's probably measured in single digits. So I am going to probably tack a bit earlier than I normally might, but I'm still in 65 feet of water, so no crisis yet. I did tighten up the foot of the sail a little bit. I did pull the boom bang on just the tiniest little bit. I wouldn't call it strong wind, but it's definitely better than it was an hour ago, and so I've flattened the sail just a hair. It's still got a nice belly in it though. The helms, yep, we're walking up to weather, so I'm a little heavy on my foresail, but it's not bad. The weather helm's pretty manageable right now. But I might make this tack and then one more, and then drop sails and head in and watch the sunset from my slip. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, well, let's do this. If I was ever going to mess up a tack, it's going to be now with a 150 and a nice heavy-ish wind for a 150 sail. Not terrible yet, but anyway, here we go. Actually not bad. However, I gotta unwrap this guy so I can cross sheet this one. And I've got to get some angled bases, some tapered bases for these cleats, because these cleats, under heavier conditions, when the sail's really straining, they're not angled up correctly, and my sheets actually slip out frequently in fairly heavy wind conditions. So some tapered bases are in order. I'll be getting those soon. They're pretty cheap. I just haven't picked them up yet. I'll probably get them off of Amazon, or maybe get them from West Marine or somewhere. But I was shopping for them today, but it was time to sail, so I came out, and that's what I've been doing. So anyway, We are still about 5.5 knots, 15 degrees of heel. So the boat's running a little flatter in this direction. I'm not quite as head into wind, and I don't have my head sail pulled in quite as tight. So anyway, that's it. Day of sailing. I'm not filming anymore today until the sunset comes. So I will see you then.